Hi, Ariel. How are you? Thanks for
Huh?
joining.
Yeah, doing
Yeah,
great.
nice to
Thank you so much.
put a face with the name. You've been a great loyal customer of ours, or human as well, not just a number on the Shopify order page. Calling in from Utah, right? Awesome. How's your day going?
No complaints here, really.
Yeah.
It's
It's
a
good.
nice kind of
Good
easy
autumn.
day. Yeah, good autumn.
Are you
Definitely.
at work right now?
I am. Yeah, so I work from home. This is my office. I'm a personal trainer as well as a life coach, behavioral change specialist, and money mindset coach and wellness retreat coordinator. So I do a lot.
Damn. Check, 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 check. Anyone that hears that, our girl Ariel over here will take care of you in any of those departments and make you a well-rounded human.
Yes, yes. Well, it all kind of works together in my mind. So,
Awesome. So,
the
um,
thing.
I've seen your name pop up a bunch on, ordering, and I think you were ordering with uh with me before I had a website. I think you were like one of the
Yeah.
early adopters of the product. So would love to learn about, the curiosity that brought you to wanting to, microdose, for therapeutic benefit. Anyone can go out there and get their hands on some mushrooms and, you know, chow those down and have a good time. But it seems like just hearing from what you do with work and everything, you're a bit more intentional with that. And, if there are any, obstacles that you are trying to break through or navigate, and if you've been doing that successfully, and would love to learn more about that.
Yeah. So I first heard about you all actually like through someone that I was in a group mentorship program with and just had been kind of following her and seeing what she was doing. And so she is who introduced me to you all.
Mm,
And I was just very curious. I'm someone who my whole life I've taken a very like holistic approach to wellness and health, which is a big part of like my business. Instead of
yeah.
going to the doctor to get a pill for anxiety or depression, or like I was diagnosed bipolar when I was 14. It was
Mm,
14, so like who knows, what.
yeah, you're 14.
Yeah, exactly. Well, 14-year-old isn't a little bipolar.
Yeah, I'm what 42-year-old. I'm bipolar over here. Like it's
Yeah.
like
And so it's, thankfully my mom never put me on a medication, but I watched both her and my dad struggle a lot with side effects from medications.
mm,
For mental illness. And so for me, it's always been like exercise, nutrition. I'm really big into meditation as well. And, those things are really awesome. But then there have been moments, especially this year for me. I had a bit of a moment where I like the holistic practices were great, but I still was struggling really, really hard. I became the full-time caretaker for my 82-year-old father who
ooh,
has dementia, is a narcissist, is bipolar, was in a financial crisis, was getting ready to be like evicted from his apartment.
oh no,
So I had to move him into my guest bedroom, which is actually used to be this room. And then I like realized that why was I giving the guest room? Like this is going to be my office now once we moved him out. But that was the hardest thing that I've ever had to do in my life up until this point. So, and I just was really struggling a lot with anxiety because I also, run my own business. So trying to run my own business, prepare for a retreat that I was getting ready to lead, as well as dealing with this full-time job of being a caretaker for my dad. And I was curious as to just anything that could help me with some of the anxiety, the overwhelm, and really just like I felt disconnected from my purpose,
mm,
from my business. And I was like, how can I help get this back?
how do I get back to that? Right?
Yeah, how do I
Yeah,
get back? And so that's when I started seeing, this individual kind of posting. And I was like, all right, I'm interested. Let's see how this goes. Because I was willing to try it, anything, but also still wanting to take a more holistic approach instead of going to the doctor and saying, like, give me
right.
antidepressants.
Yeah, I don't like to use this word in this context, but for lack of a better one, it's like desperation. Like we just get to this point of that overwhelm. I like what you said about disconnected from your purpose, and it seems like you have a really amazing radical purpose, in this world. And congratulations for that, because lots of people don't have that, or they're seeking that, and they're always looking outside of themselves. But to find that purpose that comes from in here, and then taking on, the narcissist, the dementia, the financial crisis of a father, a family member. I mean, that's heavy stuff. That it's like you watched him and your mom struggle, as a child, and them taking, medications for whatever those were, and you somehow at 14 navigated away from that pharma system, which is huge. Many people get sucked in, and pharma loves to just uh, get you dependent on their solutions that are just band-aids, whether those are SSRIs or benzos or any of the other, mental MAO inhibitors and all those other drugs that really just kind of keep you in the grips of your own uh, lack of human experience, really. So you have a lot going on. And so there was maybe a point of desperation where, like, I am willing to try whatever it takes, but I am not going to go to see a physician and get, here's Prozac, here's Xanax. You'll be fine.
Yeah, I was like, I'm
You'll be
not
good,
against that, but I
right?
wasn't gonna go there first. I was like, if
Yeah.
I have to get through that point, okay, well, let me try something else first.
Cool. So you navigated on that. You saw some results from other people,
Mhm.
posting and talking about it, and so real, like, real anecdotal, experiential results that other humans were having, and um, so you got the mind's eye. You started to take it. You were disconnected from your purpose, right? You found your way back, or you're space
Yes.
docking. You're kind of space docking a little bit. You're you know getting
Yes. I mean,
there.
it's always
Yeah,
but I would say yes, way more reconnected than I was at the beginning of this year,
yeah. I
for sure.
I know how that is, running a business, and the sort, like, I will feel disconnected from the purpose, right? Because you have to be heady, and you have to deal with a lot of just BS, and people not doing what you want them to do or expect them to do, or things aren't working out the way you expected them to, but expectations and resentments under construction, and like, that's all that is. And it's it can be challenging, and life is challenging. And what I heard you rattle off, all the things that you do, um which I'm assuming is part of your purpose, right? Maybe a big slice of the pie of the purpose. And how has it, so getting back to self, or your purpose, how has it benefited, um the things that you get to do, not do, but the purpose of the things that you do, the life coach, is it a behavioral, um would you say
Behavioral change. I'm like
behavioral
a
change,
certified behavior change
right,
specialist. It's
physical,
just people are like, what is that?
yeah, a trainer. And so it sounds like you get a lot of, like, mind, body, soul, fully integrated human development work. So how has it contributed to that? Because there is a domino effect when you get yourself back to that purpose, and then you're helping other people. There's a nice domino effect of the clients and folks that come to you for assistance.
No, absolutely. I mean, it's helped me get back to just a feeling of being connected, of like almost like a remembrance of like, here's what I'm actually here to do.
Yeah.
And I think that just like when, people go and get a pill, like from the doctor, they just expect it to like work immediately. And it's like, oh, that's not how it works. Some things it does, some things take immediate effect, but, it is a process, and there is like almost like a entry period that you have,
Right.
and then an integration of it as well. And so, in the beginnings of taking Mind's Eye, it was like having to kind of get over that expectation of like, this is a quick fix. This is
Mm,
part of a wellness plan. This is not the only thing in the wellness plan. This is like
yeah.
addition to, just like with any kind of like supplements, right? Like even protein. It's not meant to replace real food.
Right.
Meant to
Oh, it's
help.
not? That collagen powder I put in my coffee every morning is not in
It's
replacement?
great. It's great. But also important to eat real food.
Yeah. I like that.
It's
That's
an addition to a wellness plan. It's not like the only wellness plan. Like it's not like you can just take the pill and do nothing else and you'll be fine. Like it's also important to include it, with the stuff that I coach people on: movement, meditation, mindfulness practices, getting out into the mountains, nature.
hell yeah.
Those are my 4 principles of my business. And so this,
Love that.
fits
That's
in
very
like perfectly.
you're rock star uh client, customer, believer in Mind's Eye and Medicine Box and in the product, and very much aligned with a lot of our mission too, is equal parts medicine and mentorship, and the 7 pillars of wellness or mindfulness, food, music, community, collaboration, recovery. I come from a recovery background, from drugs and alcohol, and nature being the evolving medium that just weaves it all together. And some other things that you said about, uh, it's not this magic pill. And I like how you checked yourself there. Someone that has a ton of knowledge, like you actually checked yourself of like, it's not the magic pill, it's not the magic solution, it's not this like panacea that 99 problems and microdosing solved all of them, right? It's like you have
Mhm.
to put in the work, and you have to have the well-rounded, you know wellness program. And it makes me think of, when I started my journey in sobriety 10 years ago. I went into AA, and AA was like the only thing I had. It was the only tool in my toolbox. I didn't have a toolbox. It was just like this one tool. Now it's like this just Swiss Army knife tool that, that all the things I've learned in 12 steps, and I've taken bits and pieces from it, and I put into the wider toolbox. And that's really important for people to know, because back to that word desperation, is there are a lot of desperate people out there, and there's a lot of people that are in pain and suffering, and mostly suffering, and they don't have this way out, and they want that solution. And they're so, again, desperate, that they just want to take something, right? And always something outside, right, of ourself, whether that's like get more money, get the car, get the relationship, right? Get all the things outside of ourself. And what are we doing? We're just disconnecting from self or purpose. But this, and as you've been stating, is a tool, right? It's just a tool to get us there, and taking that proactive approach versus the reactive approach. And the latter is like, it sounds like you were almost doing it, and you stopped yourself in a mindful way and said, okay, I'm going to step back here and realize that I need to take more of a proactive approach. So is that something that, the microdosing and the Mind's Eye has been able to show you, or give you, or sharpen? It sounds like you already had that, right, in
Mhm.
your toolbox, or uh, that operating system, so to speak. But has it been able to sharpen that innate wisdom, where you're able to stop and say, okay, like, let me recalibrate, let me respond, let me pay attention in a mindful way? Or what I say to people is sit in that quiet contemplation, It could just be 5 minutes. That's all you might need. Put the phone down, put it down, tell the children to stop, like go on the walk in nature if you need a little bit longer time, but really want to get to that place of like, okay, I'm going to stop right now, give myself the moments of quiet contemplation. So then you can just move quick through it instead of like, I'm taking the afternoon off, existential crisis, I'm going away. Like, so we want to get to that place because the world is moving so fast. There's nothing wrong with taking the afternoon off and giving yourself the mental health, check or afternoon, but has that helped sharpen your process through that? I really liked hearing that.
Yes, absolutely. It's less of like existential crisis. I'm gonna just avoid all of my responsibilities and go play in the woods, and it's more of like, okay, I know that I want to go play in the woods later, but like let me not run away because I'm just trying to avoid whatever, I'm having to deal with that's coming up. So it's like I can now quickly I can like pull myself out of the spiral faster.
Yes.
It's like I can put a stop to the spiral before we continue to go down and catch myself and be like, oh wait, that's not true. Let's go
Yeah.
here,
I love that analogy.
quick. It's like a split second thing that we have to do as well because it's so deeply ingrained in my conscious to run away when it's tough to just like abandon ship. Like,
oh yeah, absolutely.
Bye.
See ya.
Like, who am I?
my partner and I call it the Brian. She likes to do the avoidance, right? Attachment styles, and I'm like more like the anxious. And it's like she goes to the island, we call it, and then Brian's on his powerboat, coming over to the island. Just it's interesting stuff, right? And like that split second, that's where we want to be because that's the new neural pathway that triggers. Mm-hmm. That's like, it's like the deeply, you're a skier. Let's use the analogy of like getting first tracks on the mountain. It's like, I'm going to go up, I'm going to get first tracks, but okay, you go back up that lift and now there's maybe 10 more from 10 other skiers, but you're not going to go down the same track skiing. You're going to go look for the freshie over skiers right, perhaps, to carve that because that feels really good and it's different and it's change and it's more in the present moment. And going down the same path, I like to ski chop too, but like it's like this is familiar, right? This is but it's bumpy. And I don't kind of like it because it does make me feel uncomfortable and I know I should be doing something else. So that's that split second of change, or I call it the real downloads for the real healing to take place, or being able to say, okay, oh yeah, I'm going to act differently, or I'm going to start carving that. And again, it doesn't happen overnight, but the more you keep grooving on that, eventually that old pattern will it'll still be there. Like you said, the spiral, I always say it's like the ditch is just always right alongside of me, no matter where I am. And I can fall back into that ditch and drink myself and drug myself into an oblivion, even 10 years. But I know it's there and I don't want to go there. So sometimes I have to like hold on to the damn steering wheel when it wants to do that. And I have to keep course correcting. And that can be very much so for much of life. And having the tools, the microdosing for sake of this conversation is a tool to amplify that. And it's great. I love hearing all these like common analogies too that I use. It's bringing up a lot in me, right? And it shows that like we're really not all that much different. We always think we're so much different than everybody else, and that's another fun topic that we can get into maybe another time. But I wanted to point out that the interconnectedness of all humans, right? And we all deal with these so-called obstacles, right? And we're all navigating life and doing it in community. We say community is the active ingredient. It's not the psilocybin. And it only takes two people to have a meeting. So as much as this was a testimonial about your experience with it, it's more of like a meeting too, and healing together. So I find it, it warms my heart to know that people are taking it without the mindset of like, this is going to just make everything better. It's like, okay, if you have the microdose on this hand and a Xanax on this hand and you're just mindlessly consuming, what's really the difference? Nothing really, right? So you're putting in the work. Are you doing this? Do you have any like guidance or coaching or like mentorship that you reflect any of this on, or is this just Ariel just going for it solo? Do you have a routine, or protocol, or is this just kind of a no holds bar? Just kind of go for it.
Yeah, I do. I mean, I do it by myself, but I'm like using other research, like researching it. But I do have like a very set intentional routine when I do this.
Mm-hmm.
I include it with even other plant medicines as well. Like I use cacao
Oh, cool.
when I do it. And so I love the combination of the two. And so I have my meditation practice that I do every day. And then I typically do like 2 days on with the mind's eye and then 2 days off and then
Mm-hmm.
on 2 days off. And I've experimented with other things, but I
Yeah.
found that for me personally, like that works really well. And it's because it's like enough time as well to feel like I'm, integrating on
Right.
the days.
Yeah, that's important. The integration or the window of opportunity where that
Mhm.
new neural pathway can be developed, or the change. We say that so many people want different, but they don't want to change. And so that window of opportunity is like, okay, cool. Where can I make the shifts, and giving yourself the 2 days off to integrate. And everybody is different. Every body is different. The last gal I talked to, she does 5 days on, 2 days off. And my speculation was my hypothesis, I guess, was actually correct. I said, I think I know why you probably do 5 on, 2 off. She's super mom, two young girls, husband, does some bookkeeping, busy, 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 busy. Like, because Monday through Friday, you're probably more structured, routine. Saturday, Sunday, more free flowing. She's like, yeah, that's it. I'm like, that's kind of my protocol that I would suggest to people, is like 5 on, 2 off, but pay attention to that third, fourth day, because there is that diminishing effect with, or diminishing return on the effect of the medicine. And it can also give a little bit of irritability, right? Because it works that serotonin receptor, and too much of a good thing can be too much of a good thing. So I like that 2 on, 2 off. The Fadiman protocol is 1 on, 2 off, but it's really just what works for you. And if that's what works for you, that's what works for you. And there's no right way, wrong way, just a bunch of different ways.
Yes. Yeah.
So
And I've changed it like since, I've started with like the 5 and then the 2 and so I've just kind of adjusted it as I've reflected more, as my schedule itself changes, stuff like that. So who knows
awesome.
if I'll even stick with this, but I
Yeah, shifting with the
like.
medicine, and maybe the medicine will give you a download to say, I'm good for a little while. That's
Mhm.
that's always my hope. And even as the business owner, I'm like, my hope is like you get to a place where there is no exogenous, compounds. You're just full,
Mhm.
internally. And that's really the ultimate goal. So it's a thing to get you to the thing, and that thing is you. So any last, burning desires or things that you think people should really hear about, Mind's Eye uh, product, or the integration process, or the overall human experience? Any other things you can say about that, and we'll bring it to a close.
Yeah, I mean, just, coming at it with an open heart, an open mind, and a willingness to really like, again, remember that it's not like a fix all, but it's an opportunity to help you go within more and just show you like what you already know. Like,
Mm,
it's all it's helping you do. But I love the product. I love what you all stand for. I think
mm,
that's the
thank
thing that
you.
like drew me to you, like reading everything on the website. I was just like, yes, like this is it. And so
Cool.
love what y'all are doing. I think it's amazing.
Thank you so much, Ara. I really appreciate your time today. Time is one of our most valuable assets, and the fact that you chose to spend it with me and Medicine Box, we're super grateful for that. And blessings on like the rest of your journey and getting, reconnecting to purpose, and you know where to find us. We're always here. So thanks again.
Yes, thank you so much.
You're welcome.